Um, Hello guys. Uh, Welcome back. Um, Tonight, I'm just gonna be doing a video, on my, music collection, like my physical, media type music. Um, Sorry for the messy hair, and sorry if I look like shit. I've been staying up really late the past few nights, trying to get schoolwork done and pass for the semester. Um, but yeah, I'm in my comfy sweater. Uh, I suggest if you're watching this, get into some comfy clothes, sit back, and relax and enjoy the video. Um, so I wanted to pick it up and show it, but I'll do it at the end because it's hard. So, but I'm talking about my crate that my music's in, so I'll just show the music first. So we'll start with my 8 tracks, because it's what I only have 4 8-track tapes, and they're all country music. Um, this one is Kenny Rogers. I have 2 Kenny Rogers tapes. This one's my favorite because it has so many classics on it. Um, uh, it has Lucille. It has what else does it have? We'll Go Somewhere in Love. I like that one. That one's a classic. Um, I think it has Reuben James on it too. Uh, yeah. Oh, and Mother Country Music, which is another good one. So, Kenny Rogers classic. It's in a gray outer shell. The Unfortunately, the sticker's starting to peel off this one, and I think that's because I've played it in my 8-track player so much, and 8 tracks tend to get really hot if you run them for too long, and so I think it's just melted some of the adhesive, and that's why it's like bubbling and coming off the cartridge. But let's see, what do we have next? Oh, I actually have 5 8 tracks, I guess. Next is another Kenny Rogers one. This one I don't play as much just because it doesn't have as many things I like on it. It's in a black cartridge, has a much more color picture of Kenny Rogers. Yeah, not much to say about that one. I'll try and keep this video brief, guys. I know I always say that and it ends up being like 20 minutes long, but I promise I'll try and keep this one brief. Next, Conway Twitty. I don't really listen to this one much either because I'm not a big Conway Twitty fan. Um, but it has some of his good songs on it too. Uh, Southern Comfort. Actually, yeah, that's about the only one I know. This one is actually got a copyright of 1982 on it, and it was produced by RCA, so that's pretty cool. Next, we have a Merle Haggard one. This one was not produced by RCA, but has a very similar looking outer thing. It's in a white cartridge, and yeah, I want to get some more 8 tracks, but I also want to get a new 8-track player because mine's kind of finicky. You have to jiggle around some of the cartridges or some of the tapes to get them to work. And then next is my all-time favorite tape out of the 5 that I own, and it is Alabama's Roll On album. It has Roll On, 18 Wheeler. If You're Gonna Play in Texas, which is one of my all-time favorites. I'm Not That Way Anymore. There's a Fire in the Night. I love There's a Fire in the Night too. That one's pretty sick. What I love about Alabama is they were very 80s, 90s. So they were still country, but they had a lot of kind of rock and roll vibe to them as well. So that's why I really like them. I had heard a couple of their songs before, but didn't know who they were before getting this 8-track. But then when I got the 8-track and started playing the music, I just like fell in love with them as a band. Ooh, um, where I forgot, there's another one on here that is literally my all-time favorite. Carolina Mountain Dew. That is a great song. Alright, so on to my vinyl records. So we'll just kind of go in order of as I have them here. So I have the Elvis Pure Gold album. This was like his one of his like best hits albums or whatever. Just standard black vinyl. I got these all from. So I've said this before, but I live in South Dakota, and there's the biggest city in the state is Sioux Falls, and I go there sometimes. And there's a store there called Last Stop, and they sell used vinyls for like really cheap. And so I love going in there and just like looking through the vinyls and seeing what I can find. But so yeah, that's where I got most of these. I either got them at Last Stop or at like thrift stores and stuff. This one has a lot more of my favorites from Elvis on it. It has like Jailhouse Rock, Kentucky Rain, and All Shook Up. So there's that. Next we have another Elvis album. This one I think is the one that I don't like very much or listen to very much. Again, just standard black vinyl. It is though produced by RCA. I don't remember. Let me check. Da, 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 da. Yeah, this is the one that this one's like not my favorite out of my 3 Elvis albums, but it's Pure Gold is my favorite just because it has more songs on it that I like. We'll dig out the other Elvis album actually. Where'd it go? There it is. So we have Elvis, Burning Love, and his hits from his movies. Not a huge fan of this album just because it's all like his movie songs and stuff. And I'm not a big fan of like his movie songs except for Burning Love. So yeah. And I mean that's about it for that one. So that's all my Elvis albums. Next is one of my favorite vinyls that I have. So I'm really into 1950s music. And one of my favorite like bands or groups or whatever you want to call it is the Everly Brothers. I had only heard a couple of their songs, actually through video games, and they really interested me as 50s and 60s artists. So I picked up an album at Last Stop, again really cheap, and just got really involved with their music and stuff. So that's pretty cool. I forgot these were in here. These are actually the only 45 records I own, and they are actually scratched up, so they don't work. So, but I want to get new copies of them. One is a Andy Griffith comic 45, and the other is Um, I don't remember what the other one is, but the Andy Griffith comic I want to get a copy of. Um, and then these two, because they're scratched up and don't work, I'm gonna like make into art pieces or like wall hanging pieces. So next is like um, one of my two, um, I guess, because technically I have, it's one album, but it's two vinyls in the album. But this Kenny Rogers on vinyl. This one is not a standard black vinyl. This is on a red vinyl. And this one has classics. Lucille, The Gambler, Coward of the County, um, and Reuben James. So it's pretty good. I think I picked it up for like 25 or 30 bucks at Walmart. Or, oh, maybe this one was 22. But yeah, that's one of my only like modern vinyls that I have. The rest are all like old ones. And most of these are country because my parents bought them for me, and they were like, "Oh yeah, he likes country, so we'll get him country." And they didn't get me like all my rock and roll stuff is stuff I bought myself because my parents didn't get it for me. So this one's called Down a Country Road, and I love the cover art on the front. Um, it has Delta Dawn by Tanya Tucker. Um, There's a Party Going On by Jody Miller. Yeah, those are really the only two I know on here, but the other songs are pretty decent. This one I actually got from my physical therapist. She knew I liked vinyls, and she knew I liked old school country, so she was cleaning out her attic and found this and gave it to me, so that was really nice of her. Next is this Hank Williams album. It's scratched up, it doesn't work. I got it for 50 cents at a yard sale, because I planned on like having it made into a my sister like has done some artwork on vinyls before, and so I really want her to do something for me on that. Um, so yeah, let's see this one. Um, this one is also one I think I got from my physical therapist, and I don't know who it is really. I've never heard of them before. It's called the Doobie Brothers. To me, it sounds like a bunch of pot smokers, but it also looks like it too. Um, but yeah, never heard their music before. I've never listened to this vinyl, never put it on my turntable and listened to it, so I might have to do that time. Looks like this is going to be a 20-minute video, because I still have quite a few vinyls. So I guess we'll just kind of quick go through some more. This one is, I don't know the Popcat for those who understand. Popcat. I don't know what this is, honestly. I don't know where it came from. Well, I do. It's another one my physical therapist gave to me, but I've never listened to it. Same with this one. Don't really know who it is. And then we get to the first vinyl that I ever like bought for myself. Actually, I think this was my very first vinyl, because I didn't get any of my used ones until after I bought this, and that is my CCR album. So I am like super into history, and like what was my major like thing when it comes to U.S. history was the Vietnam War. And I wasn't, when I started that, I wasn't really into music. but because it's just like common nomenclature, like, hey, if you're gonna like reenact and like collect and like be like a historian about this kind of stuff, you gotta understand like all the aspects, including the music, because the music was a really big thing for the soldiers and people back home. And Creedence Clearwater Revival was like a big part of the music of the like 60s and early 70s. And so yeah, um, these albums are actually, if I take one out here, um, they're on some green vinyls, and it has classics, Susie Q, Green River, Bad Moon Rising, Proud Mary, um, Someday Never Comes, Run Through the Jungle, Fortunate Son, Down on the Corner, Who Will Stop the Rain, Up Around the River Bend. And it's a two vinyl. It's a two vinyl thing, and I really like it. That was my very first vinyl, and if it ever gets ruined, I will be like hella sad. Oh, there. Next, Hank Williams Jr. I think this was after. Actually, these next few, I think I all got like within a couple months of each other, and it's one. Excuse me, it's ones my parents got me. Hank Williams, pretty big fan of him. Henson Cargill, not a huge fan of him. These last few are all just country. Jimmy Dean, not. I'm not like a huge fan of Jimmy Dean. Most people don't know him for his country music. Most people know him for his breakfast sausage. But yeah, one of my favorites by him is Mile Long Train. So yeah, there's that one. Charlie Walker's Greatest Hits. Not really a fan of Charlie Walker. And then this one my parents got for me because they knew I was a Stonewall Jackson fan. Stonewall Jackson, and it has a couple of my favorites on, favorites that of mine from him on it, including BJ the DJ. That was my introduction to Stonewall Jackson. Was BJ the DJ, and I really like that song. It's kind of a sad, depressing song when you really think about it, but you know, it is what it is. And then to finish everything up, the crate that I keep going. Here it is. So it's painted in like OD green, because that was the only spray paint I had. But then it has this white on it that says Caleb's Music, and it has it on both sides. So that's really cool. I painted it myself, and I think it came out really well, except for the Caleb's Music part. I had somebody else write that for me because my handwriting and painting, like hand painting skills, aren't that good. So I had somebody else do that. The one unfortunate thing is that I want to get an actual, you can get like vinyl crates that are pre-built and pre-finished and stuff, because this was just a cheap crate from like Menards. And the problem is the wood on it's really cheap, so it like will break or like splinter really easy. So there's paint coming off of it because of where it like chipped and stuff. So yeah, so that's all I have for this video, guys. It did end up being 20 minutes. Let's see if I can stop at 20 minutes on the dot. Peace out. Much love. If you watched, thank you for watching all the way till the end, and have a good rest.